What is up, guys, and welcome to the Strength of Body and Mind podcast. My name is Gordon. I'm going to be your host, and this is episode 79. And if you are listening to this on the day that it airs, then Happy New Year, because I believe this will be airing on January 1st, 2019. So it is the first day of 2019. I'm recording this before the day that it airs, obviously, but I'm still going to celebrate here with you, even though it's like in the future. So anyway, I'm just going to jump right in. What is this episode about? It's very simple. This episode is going to cover what you need to know to crush it in 2019. Okay? When I talk about crushing it, I'm actually talking about your fitness goals specifically and dominating them. Not just achieving them, dominating them, forcing yourself to be so successful with your fitness goals that you have to set new fitness goals. Reaching your fitness goals, okay, accomplishing them, becoming what it is you wanted to become, getting rid of all the bullshit that you wanted to get rid of. We'll talk about that in a minute. And having to set new goals because you have achieved and been successful in reaching those that you set before yourself. Okay? So this is exactly what you need to do. Now, I can't give you a step-by-step for you because your step-by-step is definitely going to be different from the next person's step-by-step, okay? The tactics, the very specific tactics, those things vary from person to person to person, which is why I don't talk a lot about them. I talk about them a little bit here and there because there are some broad stroke tactics that everybody can do. And there are a couple that I'll talk about here in this podcast in the end, or in the middle and the end, that are broad strokes. They apply to every single person, no matter what your goal is, really, kind of relatively speaking. But when it comes down to the specifics, like you should eat this, you should eat this much protein, you should eat this much fat per day, you should have this many calories, you should do this exercise, this many sets, this many reps, like that, a good trainer and a good coach will never, ever have a blanket program like that and tell you that it's going to work. It will not happen. It can't happen. Why can't that happen? Because we are all fundamentally different. Now, there are similarities. Of course, there's always going to be similarities. But here's the thing. If you eat the same thing and train the same way as a friend of yours who is very fit, you probably will get some result. Okay? That you'll have some result for sure. But the chances of you getting the same result as your friend are I can almost assure you they are zero. Your chances are zero. Why is that? Because your friend who is super fit has had some experience that they required to learn to develop in order to get themselves to where they're at. So their RMR is completely different. Their body build is going to be different. Okay? Their strength is going to be different. Their digestion is going to be different. The entire makeup of their body is a little bit different. Their muscle density is going to be different. So what they can do in the gym is going to be different. The awareness that they have in the gym when they're doing certain exercises is different than yours. Even though you are performing an exercise, you may be performing an exercise that in the mirror looks like you're doing it right. It looks like you're doing it right. It looks like you're lifting it with the right muscle group, but you don't know because you don't have the experience yet how to activate certain muscles, like truly activate them. We'll talk about that another time, but there's a lot of situations where people are doing an exercise. They find themselves in a situation where they're doing an exercise or performing an exercise. They think they're doing it right because visually it looks like they're using the right form and they're doing the right thing. But in actuality, they're using their synergist muscles or they're using supplementary muscles to help them cheat through the lift, or the exercise, and they don't really even know they're doing it because visually it looks the same. So the visual feedback is providing them the detail that they think they need in order to make any adjustments or whatever. And in reality, what they're doing or what they're not doing is they're not activating the right muscle group. That's very common. Where, again, your friend might be doing that because they have years of experience or months of experience, and maybe they train with someone or whatever. There's just so many different things that separate that person from you. So being able to recommend a full-fledged program down to the number of sets and reps of a certain exercise and a very specific meal plan, while that sounds good, while I would love to be able to do that, I can't. No one can. It's impossible. And I would encourage you that if you come across something like that, to not waste the time. Not waste the time. Do not try to deploy a one-size-fits-all meal plan or a one-size-fits-all lifting plan. Don't do it. It's not tailored for you, and chances of it working are very low. So anyway, with that being said, how are you going to make 2019 your most successful year ever? Now, this is not a New Year's resolution. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. New Year's resolutions, again, when I think of those, I think of, okay, it's Thanksgiving, it's November, and I'm going to wait until January 1st to kick off whatever, right? To kick off my new transformation, or to kick off my new weight loss effort, or to start dieting, or to start working out. That's a New Year's resolution type of mentality that I do not subscribe to. I don't subscribe to it. I don't believe in it. It never actually seems to work. Now, if it's January 1st and you found yourself in the gym today for the first time in 6 months, I applaud you. I think that's amazing. That's incredible, because that means you're taking the step forward. And you might be one of those people that in November said you were going to wait until January 1st. Again, I don't agree with that mentality. I don't agree with that approach. I think it's a bad approach, but I'm incredibly grateful to be speaking to you. And I'm very happy for you that you ended up in this situation where you are now at the gym, you're now training, you're now exercising, you're now thinking about it at a deeper level. All right. So that's amazing. And if you're that person, I'm very happy for you. Okay. So with that being said, 2019 is right here. So how are you going to make this time go by in a way where you get the most out of it? Because it wasn't that long ago that 2017 turned into 2018, right? It was just a year ago, and it went by very fast. And a lot of people can't really even remember what they did in January, February, March, April, May of last year. All right? That was 12 months ago, 11 months ago, 10 months ago. It goes by that fast. So why, just a high level question for you. If time goes by that fast and you can't really even remember what you did 10 months ago, 11 months ago, 12 months ago, then why would you not put in the effort now so that next year you are looking back and saying, I made the decision last year, 1 year ago, right now, to work, to put in the work, to put in the energy, to be intentional and purposeful with my time, to get the most out of it so that I could get the body that I wanted, so that I could get the energy that I wanted, so that I could finally lose all of that stubborn fat that I've been carrying around for so long, or to finally put on 15 pounds of muscles so I finally feel good. I finally feel strong. I finally feel like I can do things with my kids and I don't feel weak anymore. Right? Why would you not plant that flag now? Because next year, this time, which is going to go by in the blink of an eye, you're not even going to remember the grit and the hustle that it took you to get there. You're not even going to remember it. The body has a funny way of kind of like clearing its cache, clearing its memory in a very short period of time. Okay. So, I want you to be thinking about that, but also let's think a little bit more in detail about how 2018 went. Okay. So let me ask you this. How did your 2018 go in regards to fitness? Okay. Did you meet all your fitness goals? Did you get the body that you wanted? Did you actually achieve the body that you wanted? Because around this time every year, most people inevitably, they think about it, whether they take action on it or not, they think about it. And a year ago right now, you were probably thinking about what it would be like to have a certain body type, or to have a certain body, or to have a certain physique. Did you get that? Did you achieve that? Do you have that now? Are you still in not as good of shape as you were last January? Are you in the shape that you wanted to be in? So if you think back a year to now, is there a huge disparity? Have you created the level of health that you wanted? Are you in shape now? Are you any closer to your fitness goals now than you were a year ago? Just think about that. Are you any closer now? So if you go back to January, just literally think about this. Last January, you know where you were at physically. You know where you were at health-wise. You know where you were at fitness-wise. Are you any closer to your fitness goals now, 12 months later? Because if the answer is no, right, to all of these, then you've got some work to do, right? But it's not impossible, okay? But before I get into how to fix some of that stuff and some of the things you need to start and stop doing to make those things happen, I need to remind you or inform you that these problems get worse, guys. These problems get worse. The longer that you put off achieving these fitness goals and getting yourself closer to a good, healthy level of health, right? A healthy level of health. I know how that sounds, but it makes sense. A good quality level of health, a positive level of health. The longer you put that off, the longer you put off getting some of the other things that you wanted, okay? Having a thinner waistline, being able to wear smaller clothes, having a body that you want, a physique that you want, having strength that you want. The longer you put that off, all those things off, the harder they get, right? The harder they become to achieve. They all start to compound on each other, right? They all compound and converge on each other, and it becomes more and more difficult and harder to achieve the longer that it's ignored. That is the truth. So now you've looked back to 2018, all of 2018, all the way back to January. I want you to fast forward to January 2020, 1 year from right now. 1 year from right now, right? What will happen? Where will you be? What will you be thinking? What will you be feeling if in 1 year from now you have done nothing? If you did not meet any of your fitness goals, if you did not get any closer to having that body that you wanted, having the physique that you wanted, if you are still incredibly out of shape, if you are still very, very far from having the level of health that you've wanted, all right, what will happen in a year's time if you don't do anything? What about 3 months from now? What about 6 months from now? What about 9 months from now? Right? Forget a year. What about just those intervals, those seasons? You know, what if it could become summertime? If you're listening to this when it airs, it's January. What if summertime rolls around and it's July and you still haven't made any progress? You still have done nothing. How are you going to feel when you go to the pool? How are you going to feel when you go to the beach? How are you going to feel in the summer when you're wearing less clothes because it's so hot out? And what about when you are going to be intimate with your partner? What about, summertime rolls around, you haven't made any changes, you're feeling good, it's warm out, everybody's happy, the sun's out, okay? Maybe you're on vacation. How are you going to feel knowing that you've done nothing to move forward? And you're going to be doing one of those things that should be a positive experience, going to the beach, going to the pool, hanging out with your family, being intimate with your partner, your wife or your husband or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right? How is it going to make you feel knowing that you are still uncomfortable taking your shirt off or wearing a bathing suit in any of those situations? Okay, so hopefully you're thinking about that. And hopefully you are crafting a couple of things in your mind of how to move forward. But I'm going to give you essentially the high level things that you need to know, the high level things that apply to every single person, no matter what their goal is. Okay, no matter what it is that they actually want to achieve. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do, no matter what it is you want to achieve, the first thing you need to do is sit down and actually identify the goal. Actually identify the goal. Okay, you cannot strategize around something like this if you do not have a goal. Okay, here's what happens if you don't have a goal and you just start exercising, you just start working out, you just start quote unquote eating right. Here's what happens. Nothing happens. That's it. Nothing happens. Now, why do you think that is? If you don't have a goal, here's why it doesn't work. If you don't have a goal, then you go to the gym or you go to wherever it is that you work out and you just start doing everything. You just start doing different exercises. Like you might have a chest day, so you go do some chest exercises. You might have a leg day, so you go do some leg exercises. You might have a back day, so you do some back exercises, some pulls. Maybe you do some curls, right? You do some back and buys, whatever. Maybe you have a shoulder day. You do some whatever it is, right? But you're not really working in a way that maps you to any goal. So you're just kind of doing some exercises. You're just exercising. Now, on this podcast, I talk a lot about, actually outside the podcast too, I talk about training instead of exercising. All right, it's just terminology difference. Training, not exercising. Training, not exercising. Why do I say that? Because if you think of it as training, if you get your mind into that mode where you think of every time you do something in the gym or in a fitness context, you are training. You think of yourself as an athlete. An athlete trains their body so that they can be in optimum performance when they go out on the field or when they go out on the ice or when they go out on the court or whatever, right? Whatever it is that they compete in, they want to get their body to optimum performance so that they can go out there so they can win. They train in order to do that. So if you can change your mindset and the way that you perceive time in the gym or time in the space that you go to work out, if you can change the terminology to, instead of exercising, training, then you will be able to put yourself in this place where you are now seeing yourself as an athlete. And you are training for life. You are training to make yourself better. Okay, your playing field is your life. Your playing field is your time with your kids. Your playing field is your relationships. The harder you train, the more focused you train, the more you're going to win those things. The more you're going to show up powerfully and presently, both emotionally and physically, and you're going to be the most successful person. You're going to win those situations. Okay, think about this for a minute. If you are extremely unhappy with your body, and you start training your body, all right, really training your body, and you start really working out, and you start really eating right, and then you start loving your body, okay? You start loving your body, getting closer to your goals. You're starting to see things visually. You're starting to feel things. Your muscles feel different. Your body feels different. It feels better. You have a little bit more energy. What do you think is going to happen when you are intimate with your partner, when you get alone with your partner? Do you think that you are not going to be, do you think you're not going to show up to that presently and powerfully and emotionally and physically? Do you think you're not going to be fully invested in that? Or do you think it's the opposite? Do you think you will? Do you think you will show up powerfully and presently? Do you think it will be a very, very close moment between you two? Maybe more so than normal. What do you think is going to happen? The better you feel about your body, the better you, not just visually, but like your health and your energy, the better you feel, the more positive that experience is going to be. Okay. Now that doesn't just serve you in that situation. That serves your partner as well. And then what happens there? All of that cascades out because now there's a bunch of positive energy floating around. So if you're married, then that's going to make the whole household a more positive place. You understand? And if you're a parent, same thing. How do you think you're going to show up as a mother or a father or an uncle or whatever if you feel amazing? If you feel amazing and if you feel like you look amazing, you're going to show up more powerfully. You're going to show up more presently. Okay? It's going to happen. That's the way this goes. I hope that made sense. So I want you to start thinking of your time in the gym or your time when you're working out as training, not exercising, for that specific reason. You are the athlete and you are training in your field or your court or your ice or wherever you would normally compete if you were an actual athlete in like a professional sense. Instead, yours is your life. Okay? And the more that you train, the more efficiently you train, and the more you get out of your training, the better you're going to show up, the better you're going to perform in life, in relationships, in business. Okay? So back to my point, it starts with setting a goal. It starts with setting a goal. You cannot operate to something if there is no goal. Okay? You cannot create a roadmap. You cannot create a strategy. You can't create any kind of plan if you don't have a goal. There is no such thing as working out with intent if it leads to nothing. All right? You can't work out in the blind and expect to get results. Sure, you can go for a run. All right? You can do that. Moving your body is great. All right? It's not a bad thing to move your body, but you're never going to really get closer to your goal if you don't actually set the goal. Now, deep in your mind, you know what you want. We're going to talk about that in a second. Deep in your mind, you know what you want. You just haven't articulated it yet. Okay, so let's dive into that. How do you get to that point? Well, listen, you can't just think about this for 30 seconds. Okay, you really need to sit down, and this might make you uncomfortable. Right? It might make you uncomfortable, but you really need to sit down with a notepad or one piece of paper and a pen or something and start writing. Start actually writing what it is you want. Thinking about it's not enough. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Thinking about it is not enough. You have to write it down. Okay, write it down. And then I would encourage you, once you write it down, to actually say it out loud. Read it out loud to yourself. Now, for some of you, that's going to be a really weird feeling, is writing down something like, I want to lose 110 pounds, and then saying it out loud. I want to lose 110 pounds. Okay, but here's the thing. Notice what I said there. I want to lose 110 pounds. If you're setting a goal, goals should be set with intentions of being met, not potential, not possibly, not maybe, not hopefully. Goals should be set with intentions of being met. So if you set a goal and you write it down like I just recommended that you do, and then you recite it back to yourself out loud, and you're creating that positive vibration in the universe by doing that, by articulating it and producing the sound, right? If you do that, then that goal that you're writing down should be written in a way where you have a zero option mentality around it. Like it will be something you will achieve. Okay. So instead of saying, I want to lose 110 pounds or 120 pounds or whatever it is, instead, no, it's something like this. I will lose 110 pounds. I will lose 120 pounds. Okay. And don't just write it. Feel it, guys. Feel it. Feel it. Now, that goal setting, I can't stress enough just how important that is, because if you don't have that, if you don't take the 5 or 10 minutes to create that, you will never, ever be able to make results. You'll never be able to get any progress. Now, does the goal that you write down have to be the ultimate thing that you achieve? No. You can change over time. Goals can change over time, but you have to have a goal. You have to have a goal. You have to have a goal. So if you're wondering right now, like if I were to ask you, if I were to just bump into you at the gym right now, today, and say, hey, I see that you're working out. You look like you're working out pretty hard. Like, it looks like you were hustling. That's great. What's your goal? Like, what are you trying to do? If you don't have an answer, or if you can't recite the answer in under like 15 seconds, then you don't have a real goal. You don't know what you're doing. And because you don't know what you're doing, you aren't going to actually make progress. You understand? That's the truth, guys. That is the truth. I can't stress that enough. You have to have a goal. Okay. So now that we've set a goal, right? We've talked about setting a goal. There's just a few things that if you implement these, guys, if you implement these things, starting today, starting right now, guess what? You're going to make progress. You are going to move forward. It doesn't matter what your goal is. If you do these things and then start mapping other things around this to the goal that you just set, you're going to make serious progress. You're going to get closer to that goal. I mean, hell, for some of you, just doing these things are going to get you that goal. Okay? First one, stop drinking your calories. Period. Stop drinking your calories. Take an audit of your day. Take an audit of your week right now. How many calories do you think you drink in a week? Because whatever it is, if it's more than like 50 calories a day, it's too many. It's too many. Now, you can get to a place in your life where you can accommodate these things in a way, right? But that takes a while to get to, and that's not something every single person can do, right? For a bunch of different reasons. Some people have trouble flirting, and that is a form of flirting. Like they will drink a 100 calorie drink, but it'll go down so fast that they don't notice any serious backlash from it. So maybe they get another one, or maybe it influences them to make some other decision that was probably not the right decision. Some people can't do that. So it's a bad gateway for some people, but for others, it's not that big of a deal. However, it's enough like refined sugar or whatever that it throws off their whole day. All right. That alone can be a catalyst for them throwing off their whole day. It's just, there's no redeeming qualities nutritionally from drinking the majority of your calories. Now, I'm not talking about protein shakes. I'm not talking about smoothies, because those are basically meal replacements. I'm talking about like sugar loaded coffee, soda, things like that, tea with a bunch of sugar in it, all those things, right? They're unnecessary. Okay. And if you are actually trying to achieve an actual fitness goal, a real fitness goal, then that is not going to help you get there. Okay. It's going to hurt your progress. It's going to hurt any momentum that you're ever able to get. So stop drinking your calories. No matter what your goal is, this will apply to it. Okay. Number 2, you have to move your body. Not only that, you have to train your body to know resistance. All right. Our bodies are able to handle resistance. We are able to withstand resistance. Okay. That can come in the form of weight training. That can come in the form of body weight stuff, body weight movements, body weight exercises. But any form of resistance really is what I'm talking about. And your body is able to withstand that. Not only is it able to withstand that, your body is able to adapt and make itself stronger to handle more and more and more of that. Right? The more that you provide that resistance, the more your body will grow and develop strength and develop muscle and override and overrule body fat in order to make itself stronger so that you can handle those things. And that is how the body grows and develops. You have to move your body and you have to train it to know resistance. No matter what your goal is, guys, I'm serious about this. No matter what your goal is, fat loss, weight gain, muscle gain, strength gain, speed and explosiveness, whatever, it doesn't matter. This will help you. This will contribute. There is not one situation or one scenario in your life where having more range of motion, more flexibility, and more strength will hurt you. There's not one situation where those three things will hurt you. But I promise you this, if you don't move your body, if you don't train your body to know resistance, if you don't train your body to know mobility, to know flexibility, then you will never have it. And if you don't have it, then you will seriously regret it down the road. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about that I recommend you start doing today is to make your heart work. Okay. So not only do you have to make your body work, not only do you have to move your body and make it feel the pain of development, but you have to make your heart do the same thing. You also have to make your lungs do the same thing. All right. Your body, including your respiratory system, including our arterial system, all of that is able to withstand abuse. Not only that, it's through that abuse that our body gets stronger, that your arterial system gets stronger, that your lungs get stronger. All those things get stronger the more that you apply a load to them, the more resistance that you apply to them, the bigger the stress, or the more consistent and sizable the stress is that you're imparting on it. So for having your heart grow and develop, arterial things, you would want to run, guys. You would want to do some sort of intense cardio or some periodic cardio that spikes the arterial need, the arterial effort. Okay, that spikes it, that makes it stronger, that makes it more efficient. And the more you do that, you're also going to be working your lungs. Okay, the more that you have to take in air and exhale air at different rates, depending on different loads that you're applying to your body, the more that has to work. And the more that has to work, the more reps that your lungs will see, the more efficient they're going to get. The more efficient they're going to get, guess what? All the things like walking up and down the stairs gets easier. You don't run out of breath. You can run around with your kids. You can go for a swim in the pool or the ocean with your family and not have to stop. You can ride your bike. You can hit those trails, whatever. All those things that make you tired now go away. They get easier. But you have to grind it out in the beginning. You have to muster up the grit and work your body. You have to work your heart. You have to make your arterial system stronger. You have to work your lungs. Make your lungs stronger. Make your body do what it was designed to do. Our bodies were designed. Now I'm not going to talk about God or nature or however our bodies were designed, but our bodies have the ability to adapt, evolve, change, grow, develop, and withstand a ton of stress. Okay. It doesn't matter who or how or what power designed our bodies. Our bodies, they are what they are. And the more that we give them an opportunity to utilize all the strengths that we have, including that adaptation, including that muscle strength, including range of motion, including flexibility, all of it. The more we give our body the opportunity to utilize those things, the better it gets at all of it. And the better it gets, the better your body gets at all of those things, all of those functions, guess what? The better your life is. The better quality of life you have as a result. The better partner you become, the better husband, the better wife, the better girlfriend, boyfriend, the better father, the better mother, the better employee, the better boss, the better CEO, the better entrepreneur. Whatever it is that you do in your life, you become better at it. You become a better version of it by mastering your body. This is all leading to you mastering your body, because once you master your body, you will have your biggest impact on the world. I promise you that. But without that, you will not. I can promise you that too. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode. You are going to crush 2019. Okay? You are going to crush 2019. I believe in you, especially if you're listening to this. You are taking some of these concepts away and putting them into practice. And I know that if you do that, you're going to make major strides and get way, way closer, if not fully successful in accomplishing your fitness goals. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't yet, please go over and leave a review in iTunes. I would really appreciate that. It would help me reach more people. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much. I will talk to you in the next episode. And of course, as always, train with purpose.